So I guess we can start. Uh, My first slides are very introductory slides actually, and yeah, also I should introduce you um, to our systems here in Zoom because we should have a chat, but we also should have a section for Q&A. So in case you have your questions, you're welcome to note them into Q&A section. I'll be happy to answer them. I don't know. I hope I'll be able to answer them um, on Hub while I'm doing the lecture part. Otherwise, I'll anyway save the time in the end of the session to uh, discuss and answer your questions in the end of today's webinar. So I guess we can begin. Once again, nice to meet you. My name is Aleksandr Merkushev. In case I haven't introduced myself, I'm heading AI projects in Yango Tech. Yango Tech is a quite new business which we started not to provide our customers only the B2C products and not only B2B products, but also to be customer facing and customer oriented to see what business problem is and try to solve it. So I'm heading everything what relates to AI. So let's say applied AI, because I'm doing the AI applications to the business. And today we're going to discuss latest AI trends. The goal of today's webinar, as I placed it, to understand the role of AI in business growth, because in the end of it, in the end of the day, AI should be empowering, not a silver bullet, not the goal. We should identify opportunities how to apply AI in your processes, turn ideas into solutions, and what is needed for it to happen. What you will learn in this intensive, in this webinar, uh, we'll start with understanding AI trends, tools, and how to apply these technologies. Then we're going to a bit dive into a space where we discuss how to identify and prioritize AI ideas into your processes. And here I would like you to write something down for you to save an ideation. And then we are going to discuss how to adopt AI solutions, because it's not only the AI solution which needed to be built, it's also people who need to work with it and need to adopt it into their processes. We already received the first question. Am I going to talk about AI in theory or in specific vendor? Yeah, it's answered in our Q&A. I'm not going to market a specific vendor. I'm vendor agnostic. I'm starting from a business problem. So it's going to be more theoretic because the instruments are right now getting old in a less than a year, I guess. So I wouldn't like to be tied into a specific vendor. Since why we're going to uh, set the framework on how to work with AI based on our experience in Yango Tech. So yeah, we'll start with a bit of alignment in theory. I've seen a list of participants on our webinar. I've seen that some of you guys are already adopting AI and knowing what AI is, but we should start from a bit of alignment. Excuse me for that. Then we go into see the trends and how to integrate AI into the processes. So my theory will start with the following. Um, I'll speak about each technology adoption during human era and during human uh, evolvement. Uh, so at the end of the day, human is a very lazy person, meaning that in each of our processes, we try to automate things, we try to uh, pick up the lowest hanging fruit and we try to select the shortest way to pass through from A to B. That's why we always invent something as a humanity in order to uh, light our work and in order to make our things easier. So there is a at the same time there is a kind of a gap between invention of a technology or an emergence of technology and creation of a tooling to actually uh, automate the process and to help ourselves. And there is another gap after these tools and inventions actually change the habits and change the way we act. So, on example of a wheel, there were hundreds of years after wheel became a wheelbarrow. Then there were also hundreds of years while wheelbarrow became mass transportation and changed the way we act. So right now, if you go outside the street, you'll see more cars than pedestrians. And most of the cities in US and even in UAE were built and designed for mass transportation on personal cars. Same thing happened with the internal combustion engine. So the engine invention did not act as a game changer itself. There was a time between a passenger car truck has been invented, but it was a kind of an old and uncomfortable thing which only could go itself, but it didn't change the human habit. So it was also kind of 40, I guess, years between the personal transportation came to a place. And the same thing with IT. The first computer did not change anything because it was just an invention, it was just an invention of a technology. Then the first personal computer appeared in half of a century, and then only in the 1990s it appeared to have a mass adoption when we received massive invention of these products into our life, our everyday life. And you know that in 2000s we have seen a lot of re requests from HR to use personal computer. So there was a time gap between those, and we also see this in technologies. I mean, in IT. Cloud technologies is my major domain from university, and they have been invented in the late 1990s, but they didn't reinvent anything. Only with the help of cloud technologies, we received streaming services and we received cloud computing, which created things like Netflix. And things like Netflix has changed our habits and our behavior. So right now we prefer staying at home and watching movies and TV series at home rather than turning on TV player or going to the cinema. Actually, the biggest competitor of Netflix right now is not a movie theater and not a TV player. The biggest competitor of a Netflix is a sleep. So Netflix is competing with people dreaming rather than people going to the cinemas, which means that it actually changed the behavior of our mankind. And we've seen such waves of inventions during the years. So you may recognize here the appearance of a first personal computer, the appearance of in the internet, and during the latest years, we see the massive spreading of a data. And I think a decade ago, you might have heard a lot of hype on big data. So a lot of people told that, hey guys, data is a new oil. and you have to collect the data, you have to work with data, and technology allowed to gather these data. And after that, in 2020s, what we are surviving right now is the invention of this mass adoption of AI, while there is a technology allowing to train on this data, and compute allows to actually process this data to formulate the next token, to create these neural networks and models to actually get use of this big data. So we are right now in this yet another wave of automation with ML and AI. And let me here put a point to delimit machine learning, traditional machine learning, which we are calling it in Yango Tech usually, generative AI. This is what the most hyped thing is right now. And there is also physical AI, which is, in my belief, is the next step when robots and appliances in physical world uh, driven by AI will be seen in the streets, and actually they are already seen in the streets. They just didn't deserve mass adoption yet. So this is Rover by Yango, which drives on the street of Dubai already and other cities in the world, and delivers the grocery products from point A to point B, and completely unmanned. So in my guess, physical AI is the next wave we will be seeing, we will be observing in the next future. Right now, we are in the era of generative AI, GPTs, LLMs, and AI agents. So if we see these waves of automation, they could also be described as these waves of hype. This graph depicts Gartner's hype cycle, meaning that every technology passes this wave of a hype where there is an innovation trigger, where the technology appears. When it is and gets an interest, it gets a peak of inflated expectations, where the investment money are very easy to lift, and people believe, or even kind of over invest into technology, thinking that it will be a silver bullet. But it is never that. And always, in these situations, most of the projects are failing, and investors are getting the disillusionment. So it goes down to this through of disillusionment. And only after that, it receives the organic productivity plateau. You can also think of this form of a graph in big data, in blockchain. Like, I guess 10 years ago, everyone believed that blockchain will significantly change our lives, and will the technology itself will be changing our habits on how do we buy, I don't know, tickets, how do we pass the intellectual property, but it didn't go that way. This overinvestment didn't happen. The technology itself and its appliances are still quite, let's say, underground. So what I would like to highlight here is there is this peak where there is a lot of overinvestment, and during this overinvestment, usually there is a fear of missing out, and management is pushing KPI to technology integration and to technology adoption. Let's say push-based approach. But after that, it appears that not every project needs AI, not every presentation needs AI, and there is a request to a bright future, maybe without AI, but with the observable economic effect. So let's see where we are on this graph. These are, I will show you a couple of latest reports on Gartner's hype cycle for AI. So let's see where we are. We see that, oh, let me get the pointer here. We see that generative AI is already going down on this through of disillusionment, meaning that the money for generative AI is harder and harder to take. But we see that on the very top of it, there is there are AI agents. And gosh, this is my personal pain because right now everyone is thinking of how do we implement AI agent? Please give us AI agent. Which AI agent do you have? And I always ask guys, do you know which AI agent do you need? And usually no one is able to reply me to that question. We do see some technologies and some, let's say, topics, some waves which are growing. And for example, FinOps for AI is a cost efficiency for artificial intelligence, meaning that enterprises are paying more and more attention on how to spend money on AI, not to face the bill, but face the return of investment. So yeah, here is it. We see that AGI and the generative AI is already going down, and we might be the visionaries which see which technologies are rising on a slope, but we also see which technologies are going down and which should deserve the productivity plateau. So my personal goal is not to get this generative AI too deep into disillusionment and to get it into a slope of enlightenment for production integrations. So oh yeah, and here is a sneak peek of what is on the top of this wave, as you can see here. So for agents, there is development frameworks, domain specific models. As you can see, also models themselves are not on the top because right now the goal is not to get the latest model, but to get the latest tooling around the model, the framework, and the instruments around it. We'll discuss it a bit later on. So, yeah. And as I already said, when technology is getting overhyped, it is usually failing more than a regular project. So there is research that 80% of AI projects fail, and it's twice as often as projects without AI. So this happens actually because there is a poor understanding of what problem should AI solve, and there is just technology testing and technology investment without any idea how it works and without any idea how it should be applied into the process. The second reason which the research highlights is lack of data for efficient AI model training. We'll discuss how data matters a little bit later on. Also, there is a focus on the best technology rather than real user problems. We also discussed it. Lack of adequate infrastructure for data management. As I also said, there is a need for CPU for the compute to process this amount of data. And then trying to solve problems that are too complex for the current state of AI. Okay, AI is still state of the art. So in case you understand it as a silver bullet. It is not. It's still a technology which has its boundaries and limitations, and we should be aware of it when we are implementing AI. I think I've seen some guys coming to me asking, "Hey, why my AI agent doesn't work?" And I've seen the prompt, and the single prompt was more than A4 paper size with tasks like analyze, make it better, get the quality, etc. That's why AI cannot understand it and AI cannot solve it properly because there is no adequate math equation for that. Uh, how do I switch the slide? Okay, here's the arrow. So right now we will discuss exactly what generative AI is and which problems does it meant to solve, how to automate your processes to shift the work from employees to AI agents or AI applications. So usually when I come to any conference or any speech or any discussion on AI and ask guys what AI looks like, I usually receive kind of these associations that it should be a human-like humanoid, usually on dark blue color, and always with micro schema type designs, but it is never that. It is not. Uh, Actually, if we think of AI as a concept, we will understand that AI is just a black box. In this picture, it's red box, which receives a number of numbers. Sorry for my, for my English today. A set of numbers and produces the next possible number out of that incoming flow of numbers. So, to be honest, it even produces a number of a, another set of numbers and selects the one which this red box thinks is the better one, the most probable one. So it's actually the same as our brains work. For example, right now, I do not know what would be the end of my sentence. I didn't learn this speech by heart. My brain is just producing the next possible word, which would I think would be the best matching my previous case in order to conclude the sentence in the right way in order for you to understand it. So inside this black red box, uh, as with our brain, there is a set of neural networks. Actually, the big neural network, same as our brain, which produces a set of possible outcomes and selects the best one. The same thing as we do in our conversation. When you receive the request, the question, you think of many different scenarios on how to answer, and you unintentionally select the best possible one. The same thing does the algorithm inside this red box called AI. So it's exactly the simulation of our brain, actually. And I will show how it works on the very basic example, prediction of an age of a person you see. So just recap your young days when you were a child, and you've seen some people, and you should have understand how old they are. So imagine you see the three people uh, during your childhood, a man in a hat, a woman, and a girl. So if you see them for the first time, let's say you're four, you don't know how old they are, and you predict that the guy in the hat is 20 years old, the woman is 15 years old, and the girl maybe three, maybe four, you don't know. So there is a mistake, and usually someone older and more experienced is saying you, hey, the real age of a guy in a hat is 63, the woman is actually 24, and the girl is actually 12, and you think of like, okay, there is a mistake and I'm going to correct it. So the next time you see these guys, you also think that they are like, you think, hey, okay, this guy is older. Maybe he is 30. The girl is also not three, she's maybe eight. And the woman in the middle is maybe 20. And the mistake, the average error, is already smaller. So you iterate these a couple of times, a set of times, and when you are 30, you already know that this guy is probably 61. He's actually 63, but who cares? You more or less predicted his age correctly. The girl in the middle, the woman in the middle is you think she's 25, real age is 24. You're like, okay, I more or less understood it correctly. The girl in the bottom is 12, and you were correct. So during your experience, your neural network sees more and more people and corrects the prediction in order to, in the end, solve the problem with a minimal error. with a minimal affordable error, let's say. This is how our brain works, and neural network, which is programmable algorithm, works exactly the same way. That's actually how we train the search or for the images. So if you do the image search, it would be exactly the same thing. So right now there will be a simple exercise. Um, this is how the model is trained, and this is how a neural network also produces the prediction. Uh, Read these sentences out loud and think of what has been missed. The model is trained using a simple, in my guess, method. Some in my guess, words are masked. The model just predicts the missing words. It is trained on all available, maybe data. This creates a massive training data set. The model is trained using a simple technique. Raise your hands who were right. Raise your hands who thought it's method. Some words are masked here. My neural network was correct, and then it is trained on all available text data. So I was more or less correct. This creates a massive training data set. So this is how models are trained, how large language models are trained. And in the end, what do we see? In the end, we see that there is request which user types in the chatbot interface, and there is a response that is being produced by model, and we see this thumbs up, thumbs down, which means that model can afterwards be trained on this thumbs up and thumbs down and realize which responses were correct, were closer to what user has been predicted and expected from a model, and what has been more incorrect. So this is what user sees. Yeah, there is a prompt, a text, and model and response. There is actually another one thing called system prompt. So when you speak to a person, you do, uh, you do not only react to his words, you also know some context, like how should you act in order to solve the problem. For example, if you are a receptionist, you do not only chat with a person who is coming to a reception desk, you also have your job placement instruction. Like, hey, be polite and kind, and you work at this type of hotel. So there is also a system instruction, which is always hidden from a user by product designers, but it is always in place, so that there is not only modal but also two types of prompts: a system prompt and a user prompt. Okay, then in case your receptionists need to um, need to answer people not only with the job placement instruction, but also with some quotation. Let's say a user comes to a reception desk and asks, uh, where is this spa room situated? What receptionist does is he opens the instruction, or he opens the map, finds the room placement, and tells the route. So what the neural network inside this receptionist does is it performs a search by a knowledge base. It takes the document excerpt and adds it to a prompt, adds it to a context of a model. And only after that, the model produces its response. So there could be a very, very dumb model, but if we add a good data to it and add a good search engine, even a dumb model will produce a good response. And then let's take a glimpse on how does the model produce its answer. There is a semantic space inside it, meaning that if you think of motorcycle, scooter, and boat, in your brain, motorcycle and scooter will be situated a little kind of closer rather than a boat. So uh, semantically, and yeah, like semantically, uh, these terms, motorcycle and scooter, are relevant and are closer to each other than a boat. And airplane would be even farther, and something which is not relevant to transportation, let's say, I don't know, cloud technologies, will be even farther than a boat, a plane, and other transportations. So it creates kind of a semantic space where the meaning of a term is situated closer. So there is in case you have a good data, a good search engine and a good model can produce a response based of this meaning of a term and find not only the exact text, but find the meaning and closer meanings to your request. So, like in case you search for bike services, motorcycle and scooter repair services and maintenance will be also included into a prediction, into a response of a good AI product. So in the end, businesses think usually that they need their internal LLM, which knows their context and knows their knowledge base and knows and is trained to know their specifics. Um, I know guys who have created their internal LLMs, and it takes a lot of money and a lot of times. It takes a lot of data to train the model. It takes hundreds of people to train, then to assess the model, and only after that they create this foundational model, and after that they apply tooling to create AI product. But when an enterprise would like to build their LLM, they are hardly would like to go to these hundreds of people to train it. Usually, what they need actually is as hiring an employee. When you're hiring an employee, you don't need to train the child from a school and university and the high school. You only when you're hiring an employee, you're only giving him a good job description and instruction, which is kind of prompt engineering, placing a system prompt to your AI employee. Then you take him you give him a good set of data, a good set of let's say archive or knowledge base to operate, which is an example of a rack, and maybe you give him a slight addition to his experience with taking him a buddy or a mentor who is giving some specific experience, but maybe it's not even needed. So actually, from internal LLM, enterprises need any LLM, but with the proper tooling, with the proper instructions, data, and with the proper specific experience, which is only added on top of existing knowledge. And we also see that model doesn't matter a lot due to models are right now, model performance is converging and comes to kind of a singularity from open source and paid models. That's why our priorities in Yango Tech is giving a set of models and a platform and tools to integrate these models to the business processes, to the business landscape, and also consult and share our experience to perform this AI enablement and to place AI strategy in order to get a single pane of glass on how AI is implemented, how it is enabled in company, and what is the strategy of its adoption. In case AI has been already started, we give another priority of governance at scale, because AI should be manageable and AI should be predictable and AI should be governed at scale. These are our priorities in Yango Tech. And yeah, we're coming to our so loved and so hyped AI agents. So right now, you see that there is an overhype of AI agents, and even some script in a chatbot is called AI agent. Hey, I've created AI agent to answer on my knowledge base. Hey, man, no, you haven't created a chatbot. You haven't created an agent. It's still a chatbot with LLM. In case you added a knowledge base, it's also not agent. It's just a RAG. In case you automated something and created and added LLM here, it's also not an AI agent, it's robotic process automation. What is really an agentic AI is a complex system with orchestrator, with its memory, its tooling, its planning, its feedback and reaction, its human in the loop process, its different protocols of MCP and agent to agent protocol. And honestly, the, these complex architecture costs a lot. So usually the task could be solved either with quick automation, either with simple RAG, or with its small applications one by one, even with a chain of thoughts, but not with agentic AI in most cases. But still, if some companies would like to be AI native and would like to implement agentic AI with a business goal in mind, it's a cool architecture which they can implement. So yeah, agent components, the initial AI interface and application, the LLM and maybe a set of LLMs which actually make decisions inside agent, some memory modules, core agent models like tooling, loop module, planning actually, because if you speak with employee, he has a capacity and should know which tasks to prioritize, which tasks to deprioritize, how to accommodate feedback and learning mechanisms. So it's actually like onboarding an employee, and even more costly and even more complex rather than just hiring a person. And then supporting models as data sources, knowledge bases, integration interfaces as well. So let's highlight this key trend from my experience, from Yango experience. Do not chase the latest model or newest fancy agents. Focus on building capabilities, how to adopt AI and how to use AI inside your business. This is more meaningful rather than chasing the latest state-of-the-art technology. Focus on this. You shouldn't be adopting a wheel. You should get use of a car rather. So new tire, new wheel doesn't matter most. You need a car to go from A to B. And here we come to maybe let's take a look at what do we have in question and answer session. A question from Amara Ehsan. What are the top two, three AI agent use cases that delivered measurable ROI within 3 to 6 months? Actually, my dear guest, you have seen how complex AI agent architecture is. And personally, I haven't seen a single case where this complex AI agent architecture has delivered a measurable ROI, while uh, automation of a process uh, bought with a RAG is a clear and already established effect deliverable in HR function, in marketing function, in document processing automation. These cases are on top, on the surface. And for these cases, you don't need to overinvest. So for complex AI agent, well, I can name the appliances of that in really in AI receptionist, in AI governance, in AI how do you call it? Let's say AI governor, but the cost of this solution would be still very much higher than the effect of this automation. So probably it's easier to implement a set of automations rather than create this large agent architecture. Oh, I should press that I have answered this question. Any other question, guys, here, or we move on? Three, two, one. Okay, let's move on. Um, so as you can see, the a lot of a lot of success factors in applying AI hides in people. So actually, there was another research which I didn't place here because it's quite fresh. It is like a nationwide research on how nation is ready to the country is ready to adopt AI, and two top companies were United States and China. And they got the maximum point for the talents for people who are experienced with building AI applications. So as you can see in the United States, the profile is the following: 70% of costs are implied to people, to labor. 30% of cost is infrastructure. If we see another example, for example, CIS and Gulf region is more or less the same, people would be lacking. And right now, the cost profile goes with the most spend on infrastructure and lower spend on personal and labor. And as a result of that, we see that the talent, the score for experienced professionals on these markets is very lacking. So the employee training is very much important, and hiring and getting this expertise is very much important. In my understanding, this expertise should be on your end, not to vendor lock. It should be sitting in-house. So what shapes the cost structure? The investment strategy, data infrastructure, team, and the complexity of the product itself. Uh, for the investment strategy, we've seen that there might be some visionaries which are ready to overinvest into most hype technologies, but this could be risky. For the data and infrastructure, in case there is a requirement for on-premise, then the cost of the data and the infrastructure would be very much higher because of in incorporating GPUs. Then, as for the team, you either invest into your own team, and it is um it takes more time for you to get the required team of the size, of the quality, and find these labor on the market, or you bring the partner who is helping you to adopt AI, to enable and then to govern AI, in the end, adopt AI. And then the cost is very much dependent on the complexity of the product you would like to build. As we already discussed, complex AI agent, uh, pure AI agent architectures are very costly because of their complexity, while some quick automations could be delivered within a short amount of time without a lot of investment. So I placed these are like sliders uh, between different strategies, a conservative strategy or a higher cost strategy. And you can take a screenshot, you can play around it in your organization. Think of where you are from investment strategy perspective, from your data and infrastructure perspective, from the team, and from AI product. Like, do you focus on lightweight MVPs, or you invest into transformative products which value at scale, which means that you are more aggressive into full transformation of your business. These scores could be even combined on a time span, while you start with more conservative cost and then you accelerate, or vice versa. If you think that money is going to be more and more expensive, more and more hard to take to get the budget, then you might start with investing right now and accelerating right now from the initial start point, and then you just uh, down your cost to just this support and maintenance of already existing products, like from quick wins to full transformation, or vice versa, from full acceleration to holding, let's say, uh, the the investment afterwards. So here we are. I hope I didn't get you to the sleep. Here is a short questionnaire for you to assess your AI readiness. Please open your mobile phones and scan this QR code. Uh, Pass this quick questionnaire is just 12 questions, I believe, which should take you not more than 3 minutes. I give you this time. And after that, you will see how what is your AI literacy score. And there is a link to the framework which you might already utilize for for scoring this AI literacy of your business and for preparing for doing some initial steps how to increase it afterwards. I will shift the screen in a couple of seconds to the results to see where our guests are. Sorry, and we'll see whom do we have today. Practitioners, the enablers, the visionaries. Let's see. Right now, I have a question from Amra. Should companies build AI agents in-house or rely on vendors initially? My personal opinion is that all the competency should, the intellectual property and the competency should sit inside the business to avoid vendor lock-in. But vendors and partners, let's call them partners, should be involved to accelerate the business. So, in case you are buying a lot of SaaS, in my case, that's a bad idea because you are locking to technologies which you're not aware of and you don't know how to function. Uh, while in case you're bringing it into your business, you get the people, the labor who know how it works and know how to tune it afterwards. In case you see the downgrade of performance, you have the team who is able to speed it up, and you have people who can improve the quality after that, improve the solution afterwards, and onboard newer technologies without additional cost. All right, let's shift to the results. We already have one participant who received the very high score, 83, and has the architect level. Wow, actually, the highest possible score for iterative refinement, for workflow integration, for quality judgment. But we we see that you guys are lacking context assembly. And the guest was from other country which we haven't listed. Wow. If you're not shy, put in the chat which country are you from? Which country should we mention in our next upcoming sessions and questionnaires? So another practitioner has completed the questionnaire. Two practitioners, actually. I'll give you a couple of more minutes. Two practitioners, both were from UAE. I hope the questionnaire is not too hard because out from 40 participants, only three have completed it. Oh, well, until now, we see that AI literacy in the beginning of a session is not so much needed because most of you guys are practitioners and architects. Let's see. Oh, nice. My introduction wasn't so useless. We have one learner. All right. I think I can come back to the results of this question afterwards. It was for you guys to know your literacy level. It's in accordance with the framework, which you might read afterwards. Um, Thank you for participation. We'll see the results in some minutes, while I will continue my speech in order to speak about the adoption, the AI adoption, and what should be the strategy for the business on adopting AI. If we are not chasing the latest AI agents. So these are the key trends for business for AI integration. Obviously, the top one is AI agents. Second one is answers based on documents and knowledge bases. My beloved RAG bots. Then different models with a combination of different LLMs. Top number, top three. This is actually what we serve with a set of models available on our platform. Then lightweight models, actually also very good one because some lightweight models solve easy problems without doubt. You don't need to ask the Google employee on how to sort the intent. You can ask any person on the street. Then smart AI search. And number six, AI as an integral part of a business strategy. This is my also personally beloved one because, in my opinion, AI adoption should be strategic, not with a set of homegrown initiatives. Because compare it to building a house. If you're building a house, you would like to build a lot of things. And I would doubt that while building a house, you are chasing the latest available technology. Let's say the latest rooftop cover. What you do actually you use the set of technologies which you are aware of, which you and your construction workers know um, how to build and how to implement. And you also start with the initial design phase. Design what do you want from this house? What do you want this house to be? A leisure place or your garage place or your factory or your farm. So imagine you would like to build this house, and what do you start with? You start with an architectural plan. Uh, and initially, what you need to do is just take a pen and a pencil and a paper and write down what do you need from this house. List of ideas, what you would like it to be. The big window, I don't know, open rooftop, the terrace, the small farm for planting flowers, the sauna, etc., etc. So create a pool of ideas, a pool of hypotheses, a number of ideas which what you would like your house to be. Same thing with AI. In case you need AI strategy and need to implement AI into your business, Don't chase the AI in a whole. Chase what you would like AI to solve. And after that, like collect these ideas, maybe even ask your customers where they would like to see the AI. Collect the regulations, the inspiration from Pinterest, from magazines, and take your expert advice. The same is true for AI. If you are researching the trends, you are researching business pain points and business goals, actually. And don't forget that you always have the expert advice from the GPT. It's also a valid point how to uh, gather the ideas for your business. It's fine to ask GPT or DeepSeek uh, how to uh, implement AI in your business. Don't share NDAs, but still you can consult with it. How to formulate the hypothesis correctly. Uh, Hypothesis should have at least two main things: a problem and a solution. Like in case you would like to build a terrace in your house, you say that uh, you would like to be inspired by nature, so that you build a terrace to solve that problem, to get a tea on the nature on your terrace. Same thing for the sauna. You would like to relax in your sauna. That's why you are building it. And ideally, you set a KPI how to measure the success of that. Same thing with AI. In case you have AI idea, always formulate it in starting from a business problem. Like we are implementing AI to solve this business problem, and to get this effect desired. So an example of recommendation system: customer finding it difficult to choose related products and materials for their project, which lowers the average order value. And the solution should be the AI system on the website in the mobile app that analyzes purchase history, search queries, and user behavior to provide personalized recommendations. And ideally, after that should also come the KPI, so that we decrease the churn rate and increase the conversion by some point. So after we get this list of ideas, I hope you already noted something down on your papers. Uh, we need to groom them and we need to prioritize them. First, what we need to do is we need to see which of ideas are feasible, because not every idea is feasible. Some use cases are too weak. Some of use cases are lacking the data to or the systems to make the correct decision. Some cases are not approved by legal or compliance. So, and maybe some cases will not pass our validation center, architectural board, etc. That's why from our list, something will be dropped off or be postponed. That is also fine. After that, when we have the ideas which we can possibly take to production, we need to prioritize them. What to build first? In example of a house, we need to understand what do we need initially, and initially we need the main house with sleeping rooms, with a kitchen, with a hall, and maybe terrace could be postponed because it wouldn't be a top priority. The top priority would be, let's say, a sleeping room for you and for your child or for your relatives. So it's tempting to build everything at once. The sauna, the fence, and the garage. That's why we prioritize what is the top thing, what gives us the best effect. Ideally, we measure it and estimate the effect, and we estimate the effort for that. And we start with the ideas that can deliver the fastest, most visible, and most feasible impact. There are different techniques how to prioritize that. Personally, I believe in RISE technique: reach, impact, confidence, effort. Also, there is a technique called weighted shorted job first, WSJF. Also a good one, but you're welcome to select each of that. It's kind of a framework how to prioritize your hypothesis. Common mistakes, too few hypotheses. Please come up with a long list. Sometimes you gather the ideas from where you never believed. Then multiple hypotheses combined into one. So don't build a mega project. Formulate a one short tight hypothesis, short idea. Uh, Ignoring the importance of business involvement. Some products I've seen are delivered in a vacuum from business. And when it's been integrated with the business landscape, its meaning and its quality are decreasing. Testing obvious statements instead of hypotheses. So like let's do better and receive more money. That's not sufficient. We need to do the complete analysis of a problem and formulate the complete idea how to solve it. Wording that is too broad or too ambiguous, same thing actually. When we see that we should improve the quality, it's not measurable, it's not testable, it's not feasible. User will respond better is also not a good way to formulate the idea. Good way to formulate the idea is the KPI on how do we would like to increase the conversion. This is how to be, let's say, user first. Hypotheses that are not linked to business goals in case you don't need to, in case you are building the house for your leisure, maybe you don't need farming and you don't need a big garage, you need a big terrace. Uh, so data considerations also, I think we did mention it before. Data should be proper and groomed, not considering risks and ethical factors as well. Uh, Ethical factors, meaning that the the nature of generative response is not guaranteeing 100% 100% correctness. So if you are implementing LLM system, GPT system into a very sensitive system, make sure that it will not violate laws or ethical standards. Number nine, lack of a unified repository process for collecting and analyzing hypotheses. Otherwise, you will end up in a situation where different teams are implementing exactly the same thing, are copying the tools, uh, and your organization has spent five different budgets on exactly same idea or exactly same hypothesis. And then 10, yeah, hypotheses that cannot be tested with current methods, uh, kind of linked to ambiguous formulations. We should be testing the ideas with qualitative and quantitative methods, not to waste the resources into something ambiguous. So in the end, sorry for my long speech, we are far than in the middle of this webinar. The short uh, intermediate stop here. Don't look for a problem to match the technology. Use the technology to solve the problems of your business, to reach your business goals. That's the main thing I would like to highlight here. And let me make a pause here for another set of Q&As. Guys, if you have questions, please type them in Q&A sessions. I will try to answer them. No? No questions so far? All right. Then let's go to the finished trade. So we've seen the foundation layers for successful implementation, right? data, infrastructure, people, and processes. The model is only the fuel. The data quality affects the accuracy and reliability of the output. Infrastructure is the hardware where it would be inferenced. People and team is actually the actors who will create and who will implement and who will then adopt and use these products. So you should the factors for successful implementation would be access to experts, business engagement, and employee training as well. And then processes. In case you would like to automate the process, it should be integrated. The integrity should be there. The continuity should be there in order for AI not to resist in a vacuum, but be an integral part of a business. Re-engineering of process and deep mining of processing is needed. So in the end, this complex path from ambition to a product is being decomposed to a quite easy steps to reproduce, which we have passed today, actually, gathering these ideas, then filtering out the ideas which are not relevant or which are not feasible, then prioritization of ideas, estimation of effect and effort needed for these ideas. And after that, getting data, people, and processes ready for implementing these ideas. So what do we have in the end? This complex path is being solved into tangible and observable steps to reproduce. From ambition, we come to shaping the product vision. Why do we build this product? What do we need for this product? How do we gonna build this product? We're building the first MVP, minimal viable product. Then we assess the impact, measure these KPIs which we placed. If we fail fast. That's fine. We do not overinvest, that means. And then we go to a digital product. We go to release, we go to production, we go to already observable effect which we can measure. And then sorry for this complex pipeline, but this is what we are building in the end, this pipeline of AI product delivery. When we start from a business problem, define the ML problem or AI problem. We collect the data, we assess the data, we do the solution development, do this MVP after shaping the business problem. We do the solution development. We do the training, parameter tuning, and then we evaluate the product. Then we ask ourselves the question, have the business goals been achieved? Was the business problem solved? And in case no, we go back to solution refinement or data refinement. We add new data, retrain, tune the parameters, do the evaluation. Ask us once again, have the business goals been achieved? Was the problem solved? In case yes, we go to deployment. But this is not the end. We go to monitoring and debugging in order to avoid model drift and decreasing of quality. So we go to this step. In case something is bad, we go for another loop of solution refinement and data refinement. So this is a product AI product delivery pipeline, which should be in the end in your organization. We know how to implement it. We know how to enable it. We know how to supply with the proper tools, and we know how to govern it at scale. So, in case you would like to empower your AI product, in case you would like to empower your AI project, scan QR code, and we will be happy to join you for a session to discuss your product, to see how it matches the business goal, what is the effect, what is the effort needed, and how can you do it without vendor lock, without overinvestment, without actually a hype, but with the real feasible and observable production result. Thank you. That's it from my end. Right now, there is another time for question and answers. I'll be happy to answer them.